Okay, I've started the recording. I ask everyone to put on your cameras. So I did want to remind everyone, let me on my speaker. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to get started now. And I just wanted to briefly talk about the impressive person speech, which is due as a video post on 10/25, which is this Friday. That's when you need to post it. Preparation outlines were already due. If someone has not posted it yet, please do so. You have to post your preparation outlines to be considered and eligible to speak on your topic. So if anyone has not already submitted, which I only got 5, but if someone has not presented their their preparation outline, please do so. Okay. Now the speaking outline, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. That is due the day before the video post. So that's due on the 24th, Thursday the 24th. And then we have to do our peer critiques. Get these 2 people in. Okay, and our peer critiques are due on October the 30th. Okay, so just so that everybody's clear, your posted video of your impressive person speech is due on this Friday, October the 25th. You must also have submitted your preparation outline, which was already due. So it's late now, but I am going to accept it if you have not submitted it. You cannot speak without that preparation outline. Very important. Okay. The speaking outline is due 1 day before the video post. So that's October the 24th, Thursday. You need to put that up. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And then finally, that peer critique of your peers. You're going to go and look at their videos and have a discussion about, tell them what you think about their speech. And you're going to use the prompts that are there for you in the Harmonize assignment. So make sure when you're talking, giving your critique about your classmates, that you are answering the prompts, the questions that are listed in the Harmonize. Okay, don't just go in free will and say whatever you want to say. Okay, there are specific things you need to critique about a speech, and that information is listed there. Okay, any questions about impressive person speech video post that's due on Friday? All right, let's briefly talk about your speaking outlines, because some of you may be wondering, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Now, I want to ask your classmate, May, if she would permit me to use her outline that she submitted as a preparation outline, which I think is more of a speaking outline. Is that okay, May? Okay. So I'm going to share with you what I did with May's outline. Now, May has a pretty good beginning for her speaking outline. Now, remember last time we talked about speaking outlines, and we said that the speaking outline should follow the same format as your preparation outline, although it is in a much more brief manner. You don't have to speak in full sentences like you do in preparation outlines. You must speak in full sentences in preparation outlines. In your speaking outline, which is what you're going to use to speak, right? This is what you're going to use as you speak. You're not going to hold your preparation outline up and just read it to us. That's not what you're going to do. These are the notes you're going to refer back to. So as you see, now it says here preparation, but this, as I said, is more of a speaking outline. So she lists her topic. She lists her specific purpose. Okay, then she lists her central idea as it's written and her central idea as she's going to speak it in the speech. Now, this speaking outline as it is written is very important because it really becomes that letter D in the introduction where you need to preview your message by giving us those three talking points, those three main talking points that you are going to speak about. Now, here's where I think a lot of students get confused in the introduction. And I noticed that in a lot of introductions. And I did give everybody's introduction back. So please be mindful. Open up the comment section so that you can see what I've said about your speeches. Okay. Now, the introduction speech the introduction portion of your impressive person speech, there wasn't really a submission folder. You had to do it. And then I went in and forced in the comments and the grade that you received. So you can go into my grades and you'll see it. Okay. All right. So here's where a lot of students get caught up. Between the attention getter, the reveal, relate your topic. Now here, May did a great job of revealing and relating her topic. However, her attention getter kind of was missing. Okay. So what I suggest is that May ask a question or give a quote about how great grandfathers are. That's your attention getter. Okay. It's something that's kind of related to what you talk about without revealing what you're talking about. Okay. You do that in the next section, A, where you reveal and relate. So say she asked the question or gave a great quote about how wonderful grandfathers are. That's her attention getter. That's all she needs for that. Then she moves into what she listed as the attention getter, but it's really her reveal and relate. She's relating here when she says, we all have someone in our lives who leaves a lasting impact. Someone whose lessons stick with us long after we've heard them. Okay, she's drawing in the audience here. She's making this relatable to the audience when she does this. Okay, and then she reveals the topic about that someone for me is my grandfather. Okay, that's revealing what she's getting ready to talk about. And then she says her main idea. Now, she doesn't need to put here 3 main points. I'm sorry, I said main idea, central idea. Okay, she doesn't need to put the main points here as she's done. And she doesn't need to write what those Roman numerals, capital letters, numbers, and small letters represent. You don't need to write that. That's why you have what we called last week, the system of symbolization. Remember we talked about that? Roman numerals, represent main points. Okay. Capital letters represent your subpoints. Numbers represent your sub-points, and small letters represent your sub-points. Okay? That's very important to remember. So she would hear in B, write whatever is her spoken central idea. My grandfather, we said, well, I just said my grandfather. This is what we do in speeches, because remember, unlike a written paper, you cannot go back. So she reveals the topic by saying that person is my grandfather. Now she states the central idea in a complete sentence. My grandfather has shown me that kindness, patience, and family are the cornerstones of a fulfilling life. Now, here where I have given you the topic, make certain that in some way you include that and incorporate that with your audience. So she might want to change that a little by saying, today, I'd like to share with your audience that my grandfather is the most impressive person in my life because, okay, now you add in the rest. He has shown me that kindness, patience, and family are the cornerstones of a fulfilling life. Okay, everybody understand that? All right, the next thing that May needs to do, which May left out, is to establish goodwill and credibility. So here you talk about, why am I an expert or have enough knowledge to talk about this matter? So you need to, in this section, talk about, everybody has a grandfather and some aren't as good as others. But throughout my lifetime, I have been with my grandfather who has done these things with me that really has made me an expert on my grandfather. Okay, in some manner. Now, when you get to your informative speeches and your persuasive speeches, which require research, now you're going to talk about what you've done, why you think you're an expert in talking about that, or why you're qualified. You might not be an expert, but you may be qualified to talk about it. Okay, I've done lots of research on the matter. I'm referring to experts who have actually conducted the research on the matter. Whatever it is that qualifies you to speak about the topic. It also, at this point, when we talk about goodwill, establishes that connection that you need to make with the audience. Okay, so after you do that, then you preview your message. And guess what that is? That written statement where you clearly put those 3 main points up for consideration. Okay? Today, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons that my grandfather has inspired me, which are: he's a kind person, he shows patience in life, and he prioritizes his family. Okay. Now, the last thing you do in that introduction is make a transition. Okay. First, let's look at how my grandfather, and that would be introducing that main point, okay, which is an internal preview. Now let's talk about how my grandfather is a kind person. Okay. Now we have transitioned out of the introduction into the body. Now, here I see where a lot of students make a mistake. based on that first initial working outline we had. Remember, the working outline is there to get you started on your ideas. That doesn't mean that your preparation outline is going to look just like that, because it's not. Okay. And this also goes with what I said to you all from day one, that the student outline examples are not there for you to just simply plug in your name for the name that's in the sample. Okay. You have to think about what it is you're going to say. The body only includes the main points. For a lot of you, for the first working outlines, I said to you, well, this information probably should belong in the introduction. Who the person is, describing them in an overall manner. But once you get into the body, those three main points that we were talking about earlier in the central idea, that's going to be what you list here, not describe and introduce. Now, one other thing, let me just quickly go back to that introduction again. See out here on the side, everybody see this preparation outline first of all? Thumbs up if you see it. Okay. You see out here, show pic of grandfather. All right. That's another thing that the speaking outline does. It gives you instructions so that you know exactly where you are in the speech and what you want to do. So you will put something like that out in the margin about your visuals. Okay. So as you can see here in the outline, I crossed out the word and, because now that means she's having two separate ideas. I'm going to describe and I'm going to introduce. You can only have one idea, right? In the main point. As well, that's not really what she's doing. She's really going to do, she is doing it, but she's doing it for all of the main points. So it doesn't belong there. That was in the working outline when she was trying to get her thoughts together, her ideas of, how am I going to approach this? It didn't mean specifically that that was main point number one in your preparation outline. Okay. All right. So as you can see, I rewrote it for her. My grandfather inspires me. Remember, that was what the topic was about, because he is a great family man. Okay. And I only put that here because she had it here. But remember, when she was talking to us about what her main points are, the first thing she said was kindness. So that should be first. Okay, that should be first. It's not here, but I'm telling you, be mindful. Whatever you're putting first in that central idea as your main point, put that first in your preparation outline and start talking about that first. Remember, redundancy. Making your audience remember what it is you're saying is key. So you don't want to go out of order. Okay? All right. My grandfather inspires me because he is a great family man. And then she talks all about the qualities that he displays that prove that he is a good family man. Then she moves into main point number 2, which she says kind. Again, those two should be switched for memorization to keep your audience following you. Because remember, as the speaker, you are guiding your audience through your ideas the way you want them to get them. Okay? So she wrote first main point, which I told you, don't write that. Just Roman numeral 2 lets us know that's main point number 2. And she should start right in. My grandfather inspires me because he is kind. Okay. Then she tells us all about him being kind. Main point number 3, my grandfather inspires me. Now, you could add in some connectives in here if you want to. Okay, so before she goes into main point number 3, she could say something like, now that you have seen how my grandfather is a kind family man, now let's look at the third quality that makes me inspire my grandfather so much, which is how patient a person he is. All right, that now becomes a connective that's using an internal preview, an internal summary. And then she goes right into main point number 3. My grandfather inspires me because he is patient. See the redundancy that is occurring here? It's deliberate. It's part of that strategic method that we use to guide our audience. And then I put out another thing. Now let's put up a picture of him waiting for my mom, being very patient. Okay. Out in the margin, the directions. She says here, now I want you to write your main points out so that, and they don't have to particularly be a full sentence again, because speaking outlines don't require that. But I want you to make certain that you don't get mixed up and you know that information. She says she's going to discuss the importance of patience he demonstrated. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Then A, stories that illustrate his calm demeanor. Okay. That's what she knows these stories. She's going to tell them. She might even want to put a couple of key words, which is another word for your speaking outline, keyword outline. Okay. She might want to put a couple of key words there that jog her memory about these stories that she's going to tell us, or narratives, as a lot of times, or testimonies that we refer to when we talk about stories. Okay, so then we move down here to third point. You see how she has it as 4? Because she kind of mixed in that working outline with the preparation outline. She got messed up in the numbers, but now we understand what we do and how we transform that speaking outline. That working outline into a preparation outline. Okay. And so the third point, of course, is about she comes in here again. She starts talking about family again. Well, she already talked about that. So the notes that I put here is that she needs to move some of these qualities to where she talked about family man, or to where she talked about kindness, or to where she talked about patience. Okay, because it doesn't really belong there like that. All right. Now we need to move from the body to the conclusion. Okay. Now I think you can see why my grandfather, patience, whatever depresses me. You could say that, or you could say, or you could just end, or you could just use a summary that says, talking about just that third main point. You can give an internal summary talking about that main point. Now we move into the conclusion. The first thing we say again, the first thing we say is we repeat that central idea. Repeating that central idea is delivering your summary statement. And again, what's it saying? As you can see, my grandfather inspires me, or is my impressive person, because of his ongoing demonstrations of his kindness, his patience, and his family orientation. Okay, and she did put that here in her summary statement. Number 2, meaning of the main points. Okay, she says she's going to highlight how his lessons encourage her to be empathetic, resilient, and strong, and build these relationships with other people in her life or that she comes into contact with. The meaning of the message. Why did you tell us all of this? Okay. It's not just a summary now here of what you already said. A lot of students make that mistake to just repeat again all the things that you said. No, tell us why you told us that. Like, what does all that mean? And then finally, the closing remarks. Okay. And she said she was going to put a quote there, but I suggest that you actually write the quote so you get it right. Okay. And that's how you will present your speaking outlines. Right? You can submit it just as a PDF or Word document if you want. You can put them on cards, as I told you, but make sure that those cards are bound in a way, like has a spiral binding on it of sorts. Any questions about the speaking outline? Okay. And with May's permission, I will post it for you so you can look at it and go back and read. Actually, I don't have to post it because I'm going to have it in this recording. So you can open up the recording and look at it too as well. All right. Any questions at all? Everybody getting the feel of this, May? Do you kind of understand that? Yes. So what I want you to do, May, is I want you to go back and give me your preparation outline. Okay. If you want to, because I did already give you a grade. But if you want, you can go back and make that into a proper preparation outline as we discussed. And you got all the answers now, so that shouldn't be too much work for you. Okay. Now, and I give everyone the opportunity to rewrite your preparation outline using the recommendations that I've given you to change them, to change it. You can submit it again. I will take second attempts. All right. But it has to be prior to you uploading that final speech. Okay. Yes. You see, you're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
It's a lot of background noise.
Okay. Thank you so much. Starbucks. But I just had a quick question. Uh, is our speech going to be? Do we have to have a PowerPoint along with it when we're doing our speech?
For this speech, no. And I'm going to tell you, I am really not encouraging you to try to do your whole speech with a PowerPoint, especially
Okay.
online. Okay. We're not going to be able to see you. Really. I mean, you may be up in the corner, but it's going to be a big distraction online. All right. So instead, you can put up a graph and then take it down and continue on with speaking. Or you can have it in the background of you, like I have here. Okay. But you don't want, and students did that last semester after I told them not to do it on their group speech, and it hurt. And when they looked back at it, they realized, oh yeah, like you can't even see us. And it's a real big distraction. And you have to be, PowerPoints are also something that is strategic. You can't put too much on a PowerPoint slide. People can't read it all. It's jumbled. It's now taken away from what you're saying because they're trying to read. We know in communication, we can only focus on one stimuli at a time. Only one stimuli can we focus on at once. So you want to be careful not to do that. All right. Be mindful. Do not put your whole speech on a PowerPoint and think that's going to get you a really good grade, because it's not. All right. Answer your question, Yusi? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, there being none, let's now move on to an exercise that I think you're going to enjoy. So first of all, I want to ask, how many of you in here think that you're an extremely outgoing person, and you feel pretty comfortable speaking? How many people like that? You feel you're outgoing, people person? Nobody? Okay. Well, then okay, you see, that means you're not going to be a speaker today. Okay. So I'm going to put you in groups, and you're going to democratically elect the speaker for your group. Okay. And make certain that, you help this person out during the preparation of this little exercise. So I'm going to give you about 15 minutes, and you all are going to get 10 sentences out of your textbook, any 10 from any part of your textbook, 10 sentences. And you're going to come up with the worst delivery ever. Worst delivery ever. Oh, and I didn't even go over the delivery little PowerPoint. So we'll do that after I tell you what we're going to do. So I'm going to give you about 15 minutes. You're going to take 5 of those minutes to speak out loud. Practice out loud in your group. And so you're going to work together as a group. So that means like maybe somebody will get 2 sentences, another person get 3, until you get 10 sentences. All right. And then we're going to come back and deliver them each and then comment on them. Now, there's a couple of ground rules. It has to be G-rated. Okay, well, you're talking about which, I mean, you're getting those sentences out of the textbook, so they probably will be. But don't add anything that's inappropriate. And you can't leave your camera and never come back. Like, yeah, that would be terrible as a speech thing. That would be part of making the worst speech ever. But we don't want to do that in this exercise. Okay, let me briefly put up this delivery PowerPoint and talk briefly about delivery. Can everybody see this PowerPoint? Yes or no? Okay, I see heads nodding. Fear of public speaking usually stems from, your delivery. Let me get this out of here. On the bottom. But calmness during speaking comes from knowing your subject matter, knowing the material that you're delivering, knowing your environment, who you're talking to, and lots and lots and lots of practice. Now, there's different methods of presenting a speech delivery. You have impromptu, which is what we do in class a lot, where you have little to no time for preparation. You'll have this, you're working, you come to a meeting, and your boss may say, Kiara, can you please tell us about the progress of your project? Oh, Kiara didn't know she was going to speak, but now Kiara has to quickly get in to speech preparation mode, right? She has to quickly think about what she knows the topic, it's her project. Okay. But what are the key points I want to talk about? Okay. That's called an impromptu speech. And we're often forced into impromptu speaking, but you need to understand and know how do you get through that. And that's how you basically get through that. You generally know the topic that you're going to talk about, but how are you going to put it into an organized, strategic uh, talking points? Next is a manuscript. Okay, and that's really just reading from a script or a teleprompter of sorts. And we usually use this when precise language has to be used, like when the president of the United States is speaking, or a president of a company is speaking. They'll usually speak from a teleprompter or a manuscript, so that because every word that they say is really very important. All right. You can memorize a speech, which we don't really recommend you do. And why? Because there is a great probability of forgetting. And if it's memorized and you don't have notes, there'll just be awkward uh, uh, spaces with just silence. And it begins to lower your credibility. And people start thinking that you don't know what you're talking about, and you start feeling uneasy and unsure, unknowing, which is never a good thing. And then finally, extemporaneous speaking, which is what we do in class. And this is a very well planned out and rehearsed and researched speech delivery from brief notes. Okay. What's the advantage? It sounds spontaneous and conversational, no matter how much you rehearse it. And the more you rehearse it, the more you remember it. Okay, you know it in your mind, and your audience will connect with you a lot better. Now, vocal variety is something that your audience expects from you. Okay, these things, changes in rate, pitch, volume, can make your voice more expressive, can make it seem that you're more invested, passionate, if you will, about what you're talking about. Because as I said before, if you're not interested, do you think somebody else is going to be interested? No, they're not. All right. So be mindful of your vocal variety as well as that eye contact that you are delivering or demonstrating throughout your delivery. Vocal qualities include pronunciation, dialect, and articulation. Okay. Nonverbal communication plays a big role. Okay. That's body language. Okay. Personal appearance, how you look does matter. Gestures, eye contact, all of this is very important in your delivery and connecting with that audience. And again, practice, practice, practice makes permanent. Okay. Even if you feel comfortable speaking in public, you still need to practice what you're going to say and how you're going to say it and how you're going to back it up, prove it. What are the claims you're making, and what are the ideas that you are bringing forth that support it? Okay. And you want to do that as well by timing yourself, making sure you're within the time limit, or even recording yourself to see what things that you are doing you're not even aware of. Practicing out loud, standing up with an audience, or and timing what you're doing. But remember, you need to practice when you are delivering an extemporaneous speech. All right, any questions about delivery? Okay, so I'm going to put you in your groups now, and you are going to come up with this worst delivery ever. That means you're not going to do those things that we talked about that you need to do, right? Okay, so again, help out your speaker. First, pick the speaker. That person's going to speak. Pick a person to take notes as well to help out. And then we come back, we're going to critique each speaker. We're going to write in there the things that we see that aren't good for delivery. Even your own speaker, you're going to critique. Okay, because remember, this is purposeful. You're purposely giving a terrible speech. All right, let's get in our groups. Any questions before we go to the group? See how many people we have. 1, 2, 10 people. So we get 3 groups. Okay, and then one group will have 4 people. All right, I'm sending you to your rooms. If you don't automatically go, click on the join so that you will get in with your group. 15 minutes. Sian, click on join so you can get in your group. Okay.
And then do you favor raising the minimum wage in our state to $15 per hour? There's another sentence question.
Okay.
All right, so I got 4 questions here. Since two for you, two for me, and then you guys, do you guys got questions?
That was my question, Andrew. You have any questions of me? You know, everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, the one girl doesn't have her textbook, so I found 2 questions for her, and I got
Okay.
questions for me, um, and then the other guys are on mute. But
Okay. So that's going to be your speak talking points. It doesn't really have to make a lot of sense. Remember, we're really focusing on delivery.
okay.
All right.
Do I just how
So
can I share this in the chat in the group somehow?
you should be able to. Let me see.
Show.
Let me permit you to do that. Multiple
Oh, is there a whiteboard? Here's a whiteboard. New whiteboard.
participants can share at the same time. Okay.
Okay. Can you see this whiteboard I have here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So where's text?
Siani, please turn on your camera. Okay.
Okay, so these are 4 questions.
Okay, so we're just reading them when we get out of here?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna space them apart because they're just okay. Do you guys have any questions that you want to add, Alvin or Jaden?
Okay, you see that background noise is really distracting. So
I didn't know that you were able to hear it.
yes, it's very distracting.
Okay.
Can't we
Maybe
use
next
that
time
for
you get a headset. Maybe might be okay. I see you got one. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that might be why you picking up so much. I don't know, but okay.
I'll move to the end of the coffee shop. I'm like right under the speaker, so I'll move to the end when I'm done writing this.
Okay.
Oh, but question, just to be clear. So we're doing presenting a speech, not 10 reasons or 10 sentences about a bad delivery. We're actually giving a bad delivery.
Yes, you're gonna give the
Okay.
worst delivery ever. Okay, and it doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense because we're really focusing on the delivery aspects as opposed to the content. Okay. May, you there?
Yes.
Turn on your camera, please. Okay. Yeah, you get a better connection with the camera on, okay? So yes, that's what you're doing. You're putting together 10 sentences, but focus on that delivery aspect, the things we talked about. That's going to make it really terrible. Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
And we're just presenting these 10 random sentences from the textbook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Do the sentences have to be like copy and paste, or can they be like, oh, like kind of like a summary of like
Summary, you can either write the sentences as they are, summarize it. Remember, it's not so much the content, that we're looking at here, it's more the delivery itself.
Okay.
All right. If you don't want to get 10 cents out of the book, you can make up 10 sentences.
Make it.
You can make it up if you want.
Okay.
Okay. But we're focusing on giving the worst delivery you ever saw. So, number one thing you're probably not going to do, right, is give us any eye contact. Okay. You might take the paper and do like this, start reading. Reading in and of itself, just reading, not even paying attention to your audience. That's bad, right? For delivery. Okay. I'm talking in the same monotone voice. People can't hear you. They don't know what you're saying. Okay. Things like that. Things that we
Okay.
talked about in delivery that are important, you're not going to do it in this speech, right? To make it the worst ever. Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for me?
I
All
think I'm
right.
fine.
Okay. Now, don't forget to leave 5 minutes for you to try to practice this before you deliver it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I got my first two. I'm gonna move to the other side of the coffee shop.
Hello there.
Hello.
Evalie, please turn on your camera. Okay. Do you all have any questions for me?
Um, we are supposed to just choose 10 random sentences out of the book.
Yes. Now, if you have a
Okay.
problem with that, you want to make up your own sentences, that's fine too.
Oh no, that's okay. We're choosing just
Okay.
sentences
Mhm.
out of there.
And remember,
Thank
this
you.
is the worst delivery ever. Evalise, are you
Okay.
there?
She was messaging with us saying she was in a loud background.
Okay. All right. Well, Evalise, can you hear me?
I'm
If
gonna
you
send a
can,
message.
put it in the chat. Okay, Evalise. Yes, you can hear me. All right. What's the matter with your camera? Evalise. Okay. I had to move from the environment I was in. Okay. So we need you to get on camera. Okay. And in the future, you have to plan for this hour and a half so that you can participate. Because if you don't turn your camera on in class, I'm going to mark you absent. All right. Or I'll kick you out of the class. I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel good. I know. But you have to turn on your camera. Okay. So today we understand you didn't prepare for this. But for the remainder of all the rest of the classes, you have to make sure that you provide an environment that you can participate in. Because it's not really fair to your classmates. All right. Any questions for me at all? You guys know what you're doing, right? Given that. Oh no? Okay.
No, we're
Kind
good.
of.
All right, Ruby, you giving me big sips messages.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, all right. We'll go make sure you give yourself that 5 minutes to practice and pick a
Okay.
speaker. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, ladies. I'll give you about maybe 5 more minutes, then we're going to come back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I
It's looking good, you see. Kiara, I see you trying to hide yours. Okay, one more person. We're waiting for Ruby to get back.
She had to run to the restroom real quick, so she'll be
Okay.
back. Mhm.
Okay, she's back now. All right, let's go with group 1. And let's see what you have for us. Now, everybody, open your chat. Okay. And what you're going to do is for group 1 speaker, you'll type in either the speaker's name or group 1, and I want you to list every single thing, every single terrible thing you see that the speaker is doing. Everything. List it in the chat. And we're ready to begin when you are, group 1. Who's your speaker?
I guess that's me.
Okay.
All right. So let's do this. Okay. So the advice of an expert in a subject may be more valuable than the opinion of a layperson. If you get lost, you hit dead ends, or find you're going down an increasingly confusing rabbit hole. I mean, back up, start over from what you know now. And do you favor? Oh, I got a call. Hey, hang on 1 second. I'm in the middle of a speech. Okay, bye. Do you favor raising minimum wage in our state to $15 an hour? I mean, there are statements about these ideas and facts, and yeah. Okay, here, take my keys. Go move my car. Go. And information, and there are messages and communication about the relationships between the communication partners in the past and the present. However, public speaking is a good way to make information meaningful to your audience, to help you see its relevance, and you know what you can do with that. All right. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Good job, Andrew. Giving a terrible speech. All right, so what do we have? No eye contact, no interest, rambling, distractions, multiple distractions, answering the phone, bad attitude, not looking at the camera, no flow between, a lot of noise all throughout. Another thing I noticed he did was he covered his mouth, right? You want to be mindful not to do that. Good. Okay, good job, Andrew. And he really didn't speak in complete sentences. He just went off and started just saying anything, really. At the end, what did he do at the end of the speech? What did he say that we say is a no-no? He just said, thank you. He didn't even let us know he was coming to the end. In conclusion, whatever, you could see this, that he said none of that. He just said, all right, thanks, bye. Get out of here. Okay, good job. All right, group 2. Who's your speaker?
I am.
Okay, May.
So let me just pull up my notes. I don't have them prepared at all. Okay. Oh, actually, it's on my phone. Sorry. Hello. This is your introduction to public speaking. You're gonna have anxiety. That's normal. People also have a fear of rejection. Another thing is to keep in mind and timing. Hold on. Timing is very important. It is also very vague. I'm just getting a text. Okay. And I have to move on to this one because it's a separate. Be prepared to listen. You don't have to slouch or slumping. You want your audience for the speech to consider buying a MacBook rather than a PC as the next laptop. You want them to volunteer in the next Special Olympic in your community. I think I just heard the truck pulling up. I think it's my Amazon package. Should I go get it? No. I will wait. I had to go back to my phone for my other, yeah. All right. 3 steps to organization are ordering, labeling, and composing your speech. And it needs, what does this word says? Connected statement to help flow through your speeches. Purpose, no. Review your purpose, idea, and other stuff in introduction, maybe conclusion too. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we see, I know eye contact, vague, texting, distractions, not prepared seems like, almost seems impromptu. Yeah, it does, right? Okay, another thing she did was she covered her face several times where we couldn't even see her, right? At the end, she abruptly quit, right? What else? She did a lot of fidgeting, moving around, all this, moving around. She moved, looked her way. She really wasn't very attentive, right? How about when she first started out? She did something. Yeah, stuttering. What did she do when she first started? She told us she wasn't prepared, right? She said, well, I'm not really prepared. I didn't even really do anything. I don't. One thing you don't want to do is fill your audience with all the things that you think is wrong with you in your speech, right? You want not to tell your audience that you're nervous, you're not prepared, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to send any of those type of negative signals or messages to your audience. Because what? A lot of times the audience doesn't know you're nervous or doesn't know you messed up. They may think that's a part of the speech. But then if you tell them, you may mess everything up now. And you don't want to do that. So good job, man. Good job doing a terrible speech. All right, last group. Any other comments anybody wanted to make? Okay, last group, group 3. Who's the speaker?
All right, that's me.
Ruby.
All right, I guess here's my speech. Cliches are just not a problem because they're overused, boring. They also sometimes do not communicate what you need, especially to audiences whose second language is English. Clarity is the first concern of a public speaker when it comes to choosing how to phrase the idea of their speech. 1 second. All right, that's better. All right, one type of primary research you can use is surveys. Another misstep to avoid. Where'd I go? Oh, asking open-ended questions. It would be nice if the process was like following a recipe, but it loops back and forth as you move toward crafting something that will present. Oh, hey. Oh, sorry. Your ideas and research effectively. However, in our experience as public speaking instructors, we find that students often struggling with having enough supporting materials. All right, that's it.
Okay. So Ruby, you did a good job of giving a worst speech ever. Okay, in all three, not one of the speeches had a good introduction, attention getter, right? Not one of them. Not one of them gave us a clear indication of what was the central idea at all, right? None of the speeches did. What else did Ruby do? We saw she did some of the common things other people did, put stuff in front of her face. Well, how about that voice? Was it pretty monotone? Wasn't much vocal variety there, right? Not at all. Not using full sentences, not prepared, no eye contact, yes. Covering mouth and speech, distracted by noise, suddenly ending, yes. All these things are things we just do not do when we are trying to deliver an effective impromptu speech or speech in general, any type of speech. We don't want to do that. Good. All right. Any other comments or questions? Good job. Good job, class. Good job. Okay. Now we know what we don't do, right? This is what we don't do. Don't do, don't do. All right. Get rid of the chat. Okay, so we know that eye contact is very important with your audience. It helps you to connect with them. They're looking for that. They're looking for you to care about them. If an audience feels as though you don't care about them, you're not genuine, you don't have their best interests at heart when you're speaking with them, then they're not going to pay you a lot of attention. You lose credibility that way. And our whole purpose is to gain credibility, right? Not lose it. And once you do have a good connection with the audience, it kind of helps alleviate some of those nervous feelings that you may be experiencing because you're talking with the group. People start nodding their heads, yes, agreeing with you, seemingly interested in what you have to say. It helps to calm some of those nerves that you may be feeling. And then once you get that groove going with your audience, it's infectious. Okay. We don't want to be monotone or act like we're not interested in what we're saying because it's going to turn your audience off from that. Okay, good job. Now, just a few things about next week and the rest of this week. So I'm going to remind you all again that that impressive person speech is due on Friday. The speaking outline is due a day before that, and the peer critique is due on October 30th. Don't forget to do your study guides, complete your study guides, and take the quizzes. You have 2 opportunities to take the quizzes. Start thinking about a topic you're interested in for that informative speech. Start thinking about that. And again, get that audience together. Okay, because that's coming up soon. Next week, I want you to bring to class a menu from your favorite restaurant. Bring that to class, and we're going to give an impromptu speech on vocal variety next week. Okay, and I'm going to give you a grade for it. Also, make certain that when you are looking at the when you get back your assignments, make sure you look into my comments. Okay, and if you have trouble with that, let me know. We can go through and make sure you can see them, because I want you to incorporate what I tell you you need to improve upon. You want to incorporate that, and you want to leave the stuff that's good in it. So it's important for you to read the comments that come along with your grade. As well, next week, there is a, let me pull it up. Can everybody see your Blackboard week 5? Okay. So there is some information here to prep for next week's speech. Actually for the 2-week speech ahead. So looking at, because in week 6, this is what we're going to do, deliver this speech on visual aids. Okay, here's the information about it. So kind of cheating a little bit because you're getting a little bit of information about it. So you're not going to be cold, but at least you can do a little preparation ahead of time for that coming up. Okay, any questions about anything? No questions? Okay, we get out a little early today. Have a wonderful week. If you think of anything you want to discuss with me, send me an email. We can talk about it. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, Evelise, I got your message. All right. I'm sorry, Kiara. What were you going to say?
Oh no, just have a good weekend.
Oh, thank you. Now, tell me that pronunciation, because you said it before. It was so sexy, the way you said your name. Tell me again.
Kiara.
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 That
Yeah, so
right?
it's like ki and then ya and then
Oh,
ra with like a little roll.
Kiara.
Yeah, Kiara.
Kiara. Kiara.
Kiara,
Is
see?
that good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to practice that.
All right, I'll see you next week.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.